The voyage of the Mayflower in 1620 is one of the most iconic events in American history. This journey carried the Pilgrims, a group of English separatists seeking religious freedom from Europe to the New World. The reasons behind their emigration, the challenges they faced during the voyage and their experiences aboard the ship paint a vivid picture of determination, faith, and survival. The Pilgrims, also known as separatists, were part of a larger movement in England that sought to reform or separate from the Church of England. The primary reason for their emigration was the pursuit of religious freedom. Under the reign of King James I, the Pilgrims faced severe persecution due to their dissenting beliefs. They believed the Church of England was beyond redemption and sought to form independent congregations free from state control. In search of religious freedom, the Pilgrims first moved to Leiden, Netherlands in 1608. The Dutch Republic offered a more tolerant environment, and they enjoyed a period of relative peace. However, several factors prompted them to leave Leiden. Economic challenges, cultural differences, and concerns about losing their English identity and religious purity in a foreign land made the Pilgrims consider a new destination. Additionally, the 12 years truce between Spain and the Dutch Republic was nearing its end, raising fears of renewed war and instability. The idea of establishing a colony in the New World appealed to the Pilgrims. It promised a place where they could freely practice their faith and preserve their cultural identity. After securing a patent from the Virginia Company, they began preparations for their journey, eventually setting sail on the Mayflower in September 1620. The Mayflower, a 100-foot-long cargo ship, was not initially intended for passenger transport. Despite its limitations, it was the vessel available to the Pilgrims. The journey was originally supposed to involve two ships, the Mayflower and the Speedwell. However, the Speedwell encountered numerous issues and was deemed unseaworthy, forcing the Mayflower to carry all 102 passengers. The Pilgrims embarked on their journey from Plymouth, England on September 16, 1620. The ship was overcrowded, with passengers sharing space with supplies and livestock. The living conditions were harsh, with limited provisions and inadequate sanitation facilities. Despite these challenges, the Pilgrims were driven by their faith and hope for a better future. Life aboard the Mayflower was grueling and fraught with difficulties. The cramped conditions meant that families had little privacy and limited personal space. The passengers were divided into two main areas: the 'tween decks, where most of them stayed, and the upper deck reserved for the crew and essential activities. The 'tween decks were dimly lit, poorly ventilated, and often damp due to the constant presence of seawater. The passengers had to endure rough seas, which caused seasickness and made the already challenging conditions even worse. With limited space for movement, exercise was minimal, leading to physical discomfort and health issues. Food and water were scarce commodities. The passengers subsisted on a diet of hard tack, a type of dry biscuit, salted meat, dried peas, and beans. Fresh water was rationed, and the lack of fresh produce led to nutritional deficiencies. As the journey progressed, the quality of provisions deteriorated, contributing to illness among the passengers. Sanitation was another major issue. The ship had no proper toilet facilities, and waste disposal was rudimentary at best. This lack of hygiene led to the spread of diseases such as scurvy, dysentery, and pneumonia. The close quarters meant that infections spread rapidly, further exacerbating the dire conditions. The Mayflower faced numerous challenges during its transatlantic journey. The voyage took much longer than anticipated, lasting 66 days instead of the expected 30 to 40 days. The ship encountered severe storms that pushed it off course, adding to the uncertainty and danger. These storms damaged the ship, causing leaks and structural issues that required constant attention from the crew. Despite these adversities, the Pilgrims' faith and resolve remained steadfast. They held regular religious services, singing hymns and praying together. Their strong sense of community and shared purpose helped them endure the hardships of the journey. One of the most significant challenges was the outbreak of illness. The lack of proper nutrition, unsanitary conditions, and prolonged exposure to harsh weather took a toll on the passengers' health. Many fell seriously ill, and some did not survive the journey. The ship's small size and lack of medical facilities made it difficult to care for the sick. The Mayflower finally sighted land on November 9, 1620, after more than 2 months at sea. They had intended to settle in the Virginia colony, but were blown off course and landed at Cape Cod, in present-day Massachusetts. After exploring the coast, the Pilgrims decided to settle in an area that would become Plymouth. Before disembarking, the Pilgrims drafted and signed the Mayflower Compact on November 11, 1620. This document established a basic form of self-governance and legal order, emphasizing the community's commitment to work together for the common good. The Mayflower Compact is considered a foundational document in American democratic history. The Pilgrims faced a harsh winter upon their arrival. With limited supplies and inadequate shelter, they struggled to survive the cold and harsh conditions. Many succumbed to illness, and by the end of the first winter, only about half of the original passengers and crew had survived. Despite these setbacks, the Pilgrims were determined to establish their new colony. They received crucial assistance from the indigenous Wampanoag people, who taught them vital survival skills, such as planting corn, fishing, and foraging. This cooperation led to a successful harvest in the fall of 1621, which the Pilgrims celebrated with a feast, now considered the first Thanksgiving. The voyage of the Mayflower was a defining moment in the history of the United States. The Pilgrims' emigration was driven by a desire for religious freedom and a better life, but their journey was fraught with challenges. Life aboard the Mayflower was harsh, marked by cramped conditions, scarce provisions, and disease. Despite these hardships, the Pilgrims' faith and determination saw them through. Their successful establishment of Plymouth Colony laid the foundation for future American settlements and set the stage for the nation's enduring values of perseverance, community, and self-governance.